Welcome back to History 102. We are finishing our lesson on absolutism and Baroque art. I want to address a few key points about this painting. You had time to analyze it and look at it, and hopefully you completed the assignment. So one of the key aspects of this painting is, does it challenge royal absolutism? And what you see in the painting is the King and Queen of Spain in this image right here. It's actually a mirror reflecting out, and you can see that because these are paintings above, and those paintings kind of absorb the light, whereas glass will reflect the light. So really kind of conveying this notion of reality, right? This is the way light would bounce off different images or different parts of a building. And with the King and Queen of Spain being outside the painting itself, we have to ask ourselves, what is Velázquez painting over here? If you ever get a chance to go to the Prado in Spain, you see the painting that, the actual painting itself is that size. So it is done to proportion. And with the King and Queen of Spain being back outside this particular space that he painted, one can argue that we sit in that space. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the key points about Baroque is that we are not only observers, but we interact with the art. This is a great example where, is the artist really painting the King and Queen of Spain, or is he painting us, right? Do we encompass their space? And is Velázquez making the point that we are equal to the King and Queen of Spain, since we are in their space? So this is very controversial. We really don't know if this is what Velázquez intended to do, but it is something innovative, and it is a very logical argument to make, particularly because Velázquez always liked to focus on the lower classes, and we see that in this painting, but also some of his other work. We have a nun, we have some kind of monk, we have the little people who tend to be the help at this time, we have the maidens who helped the little princess Margarita down here. We have a dog, and we have the artist himself in the painting. So one could argue that Velázquez is taking a shot at the crown. And another kind of key point about this artwork is that Velázquez likes to focus on everyday life, right? This is like a photograph of the era where he captures a moment in history. This is pre-camera, so you can see people looking at different directions, and some people are looking where maybe if somebody were to have a camera, that's where they'll be looking. So this is what makes Baroque so innovative, right? It captures that very moment where somebody clicked to take this photograph, which obviously it's not, it's a painting, but it is an amazing work of art. Other things that I want you to notice is perspective. Most of you guys probably focus on this little girl down here. Not so much because that is the focal point, but because the light tells you to look right here. It's really bright. The actual focal point of this painting is somewhere up here. Your eye technically should be somewhere in this area. And you can kind of see that by all the lines that are kind of directed over here. Right? So if you were to draw lines, it'd probably be somewhere up here. But the artist is able to manipulate perspective and force you to look down here. And that is innovative in Baroque, by using light and darkness. So let me conclude by addressing some key points that you saw in the artwork. So number one is that Baroque really invites the viewer to participate in the art. So you see that with the last one we saw with Velázquez, but you also see it with Bernini's The Ecstasy of St. Teresa, where the individual is inspired by what she is going through. Even though she looks like she's dying, she's actually having a moment of ecstasy. And even though she is a religious person, many of us are inspired to reach that same level that she's at. So it allows us to partake in that moment, and we really feel it as individuals. Number two, Baroque art really reflects the religious reformation of the 16th and 17th century. This is where Protestantism really begins to explode, and the Catholic Church is also challenging the Protestant Church. So both of them are using art as a way to inspire people back into their faith. And Bernini is probably one of the best examples. There's a bunch of other artists. Velázquez was a little bit more secular, but that's what a lot of Baroque art tended to do. And then the last point that I highlighted here is the notion that Baroque art could be used as a tool to challenge the power of absolutism of a king and queen of Spain. Spain, particularly by the 1600s, it's still a powerhouse, but it's really coming to its decline. The decline is right around the corner. It's not the power that it used to be. And one could argue, as one art historian did, that Velázquez is taking a subtle shot at the royal family by not including them in the image, right? They're so small in that mirror that other people are much more important. And some people have argued that that could promote the concept of democratic values. Could be true, could, maybe it's not, but it is quite innovative that he does a behind the scenes, because no other artist had done something like that up to that point. So I hope you enjoy looking at the artwork and doing some art analysis. I will post a video that analyzes Las Meninas, and hopefully you take a few minutes to look at that video and see what art historians have to say about that painting, Las Meninas. Have a good day.